how important is the art of delegation?
The art of delegation is everything. It's the lifeblood to survive. No human being can carry so many things at once. The consequence of a lack of delegation is I'm feeling burnt out and stressed out. I just had to step away like for a minute and just like completely reset. If you delegated something and it's not done up to standards, you might still have to swoop in and save it. But man, if you delegate and it turns out great, it's the best feeling ever.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Agency Insider. Guys, I am so excited for today's call, for today's conversation. We're with Bill Griepenstroh. Guys, I was checking out, I always say this, when I'm checking out a different website, I'm like one of those nerds. I do like some deep scraping. I was just checking out all of the work that Unanimous does, and I cannot wait to jump into this. But today, I just want you to sit back, relax. We're going to be talking about a few different things in regards to leadership, leading, and leading teams, leading with different customers. And I'm so excited that we have Bill on the call today. Bill, welcome to the show, man. So happy that you could make it today.
Thanks for having me. It's great to be here. And I tell people that one of my favorite things is to talk about myself. And so this is a perfect spot.
Dude, all right. This is
I'm good at it.
good.
I'm
Then it's
experienced
gonna
at
be
it.
an easy interview. I love it, bro. Then you just pulled out of me, man. We're gonna flow it today because usually it's hard. Sometimes you're on a call with someone and it's like they're maybe not used to like talking about themselves or talking about certain things. So you're like really having to drill. Like it's kind of like a 60 minutes kind of interview, like trying to pull it out of them. So I'm happy. I'm glad that you like talking about
I'm
yourself.
very
That's gonna be.
experienced. Very experienced.
I love it, bro. I love it. Well, everyone that maybe this is the first time, I always like to kind of talk to the audience and I'll talk with you, Bill, as well. But for those that are watching for the first time, I want to just, quick high level overview of what Agency Insider is all about. Why are we doing this? Why did we get started doing this? Is because myself as an agency owner, I have an agency and I also have a few different softwares that I deal with. I know the difficulties of running a business. I know the difficulties of running, like working with remote workers, running different projects. And sometimes it can be such a lonely thing. And especially in today's generation in the digital landscape, it's just getting more and more lonelier. And so we started Agency Insider just for this, to have conversation with different leaders, different people within different agents, like levels of leadership within agencies. And so this show is to promote every single person out there that has said yes to the agency life and anybody that's working within the agency culture. And so today I want you just to sit back. Like I said, we're going to go through this call today, this conversation. We're going to be talking about leadership. Take notes. If you want to reach out to us, please subscribe. It's going to be awesome. All right, enough about that, Bill. So can you give me a little bit of background, high level view of who are you? What do you do at the company? And then we're going to go from there. So just give us kind of a little bit of who are you? Where do you come from? What are your experiences so that people can get to know Bill a little better?
Yeah, well, I grew up in central Nebraska, over here in the United States, and small town, not a lot to do. Somehow I just kind of discovered that I enjoyed making videos kind of through
Mm.
my parents had like a mini DV tape camera and I met
Yeah.
some friends and next thing I know, we're making comedy sketch videos. And this was kind of in the early days of YouTube. And so I, just started posting and didn't get too much traction, but just enough to like kind of figure out like, I don't know what this is, but I want to do something like this, like making videos, right?
Yeah.
And that kind of led me into a career as a solo videographer. Um, and I worked for a mega church for a while and kind of got to travel and got to go to Iceland and Africa and some other places around the country doing freelance projects.
Wow.
And then I eventually kind of felt like um, I was hitting a ceiling creatively and just kind of knowing my limits because when you're doing everything yourself, there's only so far you can take something. Um,
For sure. For sure.
yeah, so then I had an opportunity to work for a video production company as a commercial director, and that was a transition sort of into leadership. And I didn't really
Mm.
realize it at the time, but I was going from being the guy that was, doing everything start to finish to now I have specialists around me and a bigger
Yeah.
budget to work with. And I can have this idea, but I need to be able to communicate that to other people
So
who
good.
are really good at what they do. And so I was there for a couple years, and then I had this opportunity with Unanimous to uh, come to this agency that hadn't had video production for very long. It's a marketing and branding agency that um, I think there's like 350 active clients, like just a lot of
Yeah.
work happening here for an agency of about 20 people. But most of it was design and web, marketing, branding,
Mhm.
and video was a department that was added in 2020. And so in 2024, I think it was, no, 2023, the end of 2023, I took a role here as lead video director. And really my job here has been to kind of grow the department and to sell bigger projects to lots of clients who don't necessarily have a vision for how much money they can spend in video,
Mhm.
but also like what that can do for their brand. And
For sure.
so yeah, so here I've been kind of doing the commercial directing. Also we have small clients, so sometimes I tap into my solo videography background as well. So kind of everything in between from, bigger sets, bigger budgets to smaller productions. We're in a small market here in Nebraska, so um, you know, we get clients of all shapes and sizes, but
That's awesome.
doing that, but also like doing sales and selling projects and leading my department. So
That's
yeah,
incredible.
it's
Hey,
the long story.
that definitely not, I wouldn't say a jack of all trades because you are definitely skilled in that set of being able to lead people within that, like within the video production. But like I was, you're leading projects. You're connecting with people, building client relationships, managing budgets. I mean, that could be so much that you could unpack there. Because actually, since we do have a lot of agency owners that are watching this, it's so cool to talk with people like you that okay, you're not running the business, you're running a lot of things, but
Yeah.
you get the point of like the head leadership in the sense of leading it as the CEO. But it's so good to talk with other leaders within organizations because you get such a different perspective about certain things. And I believe there's so much knowledge that we can pull from you and your experiences. And as other CEOs or other founders are watching this, they could be looking for people like you. They could be looking for people of that type of caliber, of that type of, it kind of like sets the bar. And I think today, especially in today's generation, there's so many things that the bar is like slowly dropping. But when you have people that are so dynamic like you, there is that ability to be able to learn and pull. So I'm going to pull from you, man. So you said you like
Thank you.
talking.
Yeah.
So hey, I'm going to pull you from. I'm going to ask you some questions. So I hope you're ready for that.
Yeah. Bring
But
it.
let's break it down, man. Let's break it down. We were just talking before we got on the call here. We were talking about like the different types of projects, right? When you're dealing with customers and you said that as you're growing in your leadership and as you've been like the projects grow, then there's like
Right.
people that you work with that you like, it's like pulling you to have to delegate more and more and more. Kind of bring me in on that process. Okay, you're working within the company, you have a team of people that maybe are working with you or under you. How important is delegation in this area of agency life? How important is the art of delegation, if you want to word it that way?
The art of delegation is everything. I mean, it really
Come on.
is. It's the lifeblood to survive
Ooh, that's good.
in this
That's
world. I
good.
mean, yeah, it's especially like once you have just a million clients, going on, or I mean, a million is an exaggeration, but even like 10, or something like that,
Yeah.
and you just have this large number of, you know,
Moving
clients that are in
parts.
they're on different phases. Maybe you've got
Mhm.
some prospects that you're kind of trying to sell to, and then you have
Mhm.
projects that are, in the early phases, and then you have projects that are finishing up, and
Mhm.
it's especially projects that are like, this is supposed to be finished 3 months ago. I want it finished now,
Mhm.
but the client's not responding to me. So
Mhm.
you kind of get everything in between. And so in order to juggle all of that, you need to be able to delegate, and you need to be able
Yeah.
to surround yourself with people that you trust, who, you know that when you delegate something to them, you don't have to worry about it anymore because,
Yeah.
especially as an owner, and I'm not an owner, but, leading my
I,
department, I
yeah.
feel and
I have an owner mentality for
yeah,
sure.
yeah, like, I really feel like, in a sense, I'm, um, running a production company, but just without the all the financial risk that take, so it's
Yeah,
kind of
there.
the best of both worlds,
I
but
love it.
I feel heavy responsibility to make it work and to make it profitable, and
Yeah.
at a certain point, I mean, you will experience burnout in this industry because
Mhm.
everybody wants something from you now, yesterday. They
Yeah.
want it from you yesterday. And so, at a certain point, you're just no human being can carry so many things at once, and that's why
Yeah.
delegation is so important.
So let's use some. Let's be honest here, if you don't mind. Mind opening up in some maybe potential vulnerable moments of your life, or maybe you've like tucked it away and like I'm never gonna think about it ever again. So let's maybe we're like kind of picking at a
All right,
scab. I
bring it
don't know.
on, bring it on.
Yeah, let's see. But like, has there been any moment in your life, in your leadership, where you just straight dropped the ball? Like it's like you were holding it and you forgot to delegate, or you over delegated, or you under delegated. Was there any moments in your professional life, specifically working within this agency, that delegation it like either didn't work for you, or like you didn't utilize it in the way, and like there was something negative that came out of it? Has that happened to you yet in your professional life here, like in the area of delegation or the lack thereof?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I have been pretty good about, at least on the client facing end, really
Hmm.
hitting the deadlines and, making it work. But I think the consequence of a lack of delegation is I'm feeling burnt out and stressed out. And I'm internalizing all these things, um,
Mm.
and carrying that burden. And it's like it's crushing. You know what I mean? And so I would say even like a month ago, we had a project that we were finishing up. Or no, this was 2 months ago now. But I was just like, I just had to step away like for a minute and just like completely reset. And because
Mm.
we had this project we're in the middle of that was like pretty stressful, and then we're getting this sales opportunity from this large client that is
Hmm.
a bunch of work that I'm not really super good at, which is motion
Hmm.
graphics. And
Hmm.
I can do enough to get by, enough to fool people,
Hmm.
enough to like do some minimalist type stuff, but this was going to be
Hmm.
advanced. And I was carrying that burden, feeling like if we sign
Yeah.
this client, I'm going to have to do it all. And I was just feeling like I'm going to lose my mind, and
Yeah. Yeah.
luckily, the leadership here at Unanimous is incredible. Bosses that just really, really listen and want the best. And this client that we were looking at signing was big enough to where it would justify another person's salary. So I was like,
Brilliant.
we need to hire, if we're going to sign this client, we really need to hire a motion graphics specialist. And that's what we ended up doing. So, but all that to say, I think that feeling and that stress is, for me, it's like I'm gonna do whatever I can to hit the deadline. I will stay up till
Hmm.
3 a.m. if I have to. Like, I will do
Yeah.
whatever I have to do, but
Hmm.
eventually that has a cost on your mental and physical health. So,
Come on, man.
yeah.
So okay, so what are some things that you do? Because look, as you're saying this, I have like these flashbacks, and I mean, like I'd be sitting in bed, like the same thing. I like, okay, there's a project that's coming, and in our case, because we have a staffing agency of creatives and managers, so like in this case, we knew a new customer was coming, and the type of the profile of this customer was very, very delicate in the nature of like what they were doing. And so I was like, I was sitting in bed, and as the entrepreneur me, this was in the beginning of our business. I remember it was like the entrepreneur me was like, I'll take that job. Like I'll take the job, and like, and then not you're not gonna lie to the customer, but you wouldn't say like, oh, we don't have that person. And it'd be like,
It's so
no,
hard to say no. Yeah.
yeah, like, and then like the expert's gonna be with you. I got you on this one. So like, But
Yeah.
I remember I'm like laying there and I almost got like these night sweats because I was thinking to myself, I'm like, I don't even know if I have the mental capacity to even be able to to handle this project. And so I can relate to that feeling of like, oh my gosh, like this overwhelming sensation. I know a lot of agency owners probably go through that from time to time. We've had a lot of people conversations where like in the beginning it was just them. They literally
Yeah.
wore hats of every sector of the department of all the department heads. So I'm getting to my question here is like, I had to go in my life where like this was like a long process for me of like learning the art of delegation of like how to delegate certain things. But I want to hear from you because this conversation is about you. It's about your knowledge, about your experience. What do you do to keep from like this worry to like over okay like what do you do I'll rephrase the sentence. What do you do to delegate? I guess that's just the most simple. So what do you do to delegate to keep you from that overwhelming sensation of I don't know if I can handle this anymore?
Well, I would say I'm learning. I mean, you know, I'm far from perfect. I would definitely not consider myself a delegation expert, but
Hmm.
um I think that for me the key thing is um understanding that like I have to let go of some sense of control and fear
That's good.
because I
That's good.
yeah, I think that a lot of times like workaholism or burnout, like it's rooted in some type of fear of failure or some need and the
Hmm.
need for control. And that need for control comes from that fear of failure. And so
Hmm.
when I delegate, it's like I have to let it go a little bit. And so I
That's
don't know if
good.
that's answering your question at all, but it's kind
It is.
it's also like accepting that things will if someone else is gonna do something, it might be done a little bit differently than how I would do it. And, and that means even, for example, one of the things we talked about before this call, I think my strength is probably in post-production and editing
Hmm.
specifically. Motion
Hmm.
graphics, like I said, I can kinda do, but only
Hmm.
to a certain point. But when it comes to storytelling and editing, I really would say that that was kind of the secret sauce to my success as a solo videographer. And in a lot of like my freelance life was like I was editing my way out of problems. And so um because I could shoot well, but not like elite, you know what I mean? And so then when I became a commercial director, I still try to edit most of my projects if I can, but at a certain
Hmm.
point, I have too many projects going on, deadlines coming up. Like at this agency, we have our video department is 4 people and 2 of them
Hmm.
3 of us can edit pretty well. And so some projects, like I might have like this vision for exactly how I want this edited when I'm on set.
Hmm.
And if I'm the one
Hmm.
actually executing that, then I can get it there. But if I give it to someone else, it might not get to where I think it can be,
Hmm.
or it might not be to my vision. But great example, that project I was saying stressing me out a couple months ago. I gave it to a different editor on our team and I thought, you know, we'll see how this goes. And man, she crushed it. She just crushed it. She did it like probably better than I would have, to be honest. And I was like, this is amazing. This is such a
That's
great feeling.
awesome.
And then, at the end of the day though, too, if as an owner, as a leader of a department, you do have a certain level of responsibility. So you do have to accept that once if you've delegated something and it's not done up to standards, you might still have to swoop in and save it. But man,
Yeah.
if you delegate and it turns out great, it's the best feeling ever.
I love it. What are some things, because, again, we do have a lot of people on the show that own companies. They own these, and a lot of them come the same. It's the same kind of, history. Because I used to be a graphic designer. I still am, but like, I know the pains of what certain, different people go through, like editors and graphic designers, etc. But one thing I would like to ask you that could potentially help a lot of agency owners from like committing certain mistakes. what type what makes like a good video editor? What makes a good creative? Like what are some qualities that agency owners should be looking for? Because so many times they look at the CV, they look at the portfolio and like, okay, that's it. Is there anything else? And it sounds obvious, but that's the thing is like every person has a different interpretation. This is why I asked this question. What are some certain things that you would help like in your ability to help other agencies, what would you guide them or get, prepare them for? What knowledge could you pass to people that are wanting to hire video editors or graphic designers or creatives in general?
I think that it's a matter of personal ambition. If you and
That's good.
that might be hard to always, like, sense in an interview if a person has
Hmm.
that personal ambition, but that's kind of I think that's the key for, like, my success as, an editor and other roles I've done is that I wanna make work that I love first and
That's
foremost,
good.
and for me, maybe it's arrogance or misplaced, but I'm confident that if I love it, like, other people are gonna love it too, and so I
Yeah,
have this
it's ownership.
standard for my
That's
own
good.
work that, personal pride, right? Like, I have this personal pride in my work that I'm gonna do whatever I can to make sure it's above the bar, and
Yep.
really, most of my work, I'm just competing with my past self, like, I'm just trying to make something better
That's really good.
for
I like that.
it
I
might
like that.
the client's bar might be here, but, like, my bar is here. So, if I'm going for that bar, I feel pretty confident that, the client's gonna be happy too, but sometimes the client has other ideas, so you have to deal with that when that happens, but yeah, so in general, like, that is the challenge is, like, trying to find people that have that personal pride and that ambition to do great work, because I feel like the rest kind of falls into place after that because they will take responsibility, they will try to problem solve for you, they
Yep.
will, yeah, just take ownership in their work and over time, they're just gonna get better and better, and, but the problem with us ambitious people too is that we're never satisfied, so, I can speak to both sides of it as the employee, as the person.
Just a little bit more. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like as the employee, I'm also never satisfied either, so it might be hard to keep me happy all the time, but,
Well,
that's more I know that's more internal than external, so, yeah.
but that's the thing. Like, I think you really you spoke well with that. I think I would prefer a little fire than no fire at all. I would prefer someone who is over ambitious than someone who you feel like you have to just you're continually having to motivate. You're continually having to there's nothing wrong with encouragement because I think that's a really important role as a leader. You have to be an encourager, right? But like if you're like I always do things by percentages, like it's either 70-30 rule. And my book is like, it's 70% performance, 30% encouragement because like this is something this is what I do for myself. And so it's like we have to look for those types of people. And I love what you said, who has that self-worth. Like if you don't have self-worth, if you don't believe in that, it will reflect in everything that you do. I mean, we do the same thing when I was thinking about this when we were in the early development phase of one of the softwares that we were creating. And I remember how grueling this process was of developing something that like technically hadn't existed yet in that manner, in that way. And I just remember I had to overcome that feeling of like, is this good enough? I had to get to that point like, no, I did really good job here. And this is going to really help people. And as a result of that, like that comes out of you. I think people can trust that. Like I think I would say to all agencies owners out there, like that's something just like Bill had just said, you have to look for people. That's like the beautiful phrase of just self-worth. If that person doesn't have any worth, like self-worth, it's kind of a red flag for you. There's probably problems that are going to happen in the future. I mean, would you agree with that?
Oh yeah, 1,000%. And it's a double-edged sword too because I think if
Yeah,
people
like
put
yeah,
too much of their worth in their work, then um,
yeah.
they burn themselves out and they're always trying. And I've been there. I am there to be honest. Sometimes like it's like
Hmm.
I'm trying to prove something to myself or to other people, like measure me by the quality of my work, but it's like, no, you're more than that. So obviously our business is about bottom lines and dollars and cents, but you still have to remember the human being inside and like,
Yeah.
and I will say too, at Unanimous, I feel like we do that really well as an agency.
Mm.
Having a good work-life balance is definitely not only encouraged, but really modeled here by the
Mm.
ownership. But I've also found this, maybe I'm transitioning subjects here, but work-life balance is part of the challenge is making sure that work-life balance exists in your head too, where you
Goodness.
turn it off, and I've been where you've been, where you're laying awake at, late at night with the cold sweats, thinking about
Yeah.
the prospect that might be, and you just, yeah, finding people that have, they have ambition, they have like ownership, but also they can somehow kind of see that balance and not burn
So good.
themselves out because,
So
it's
good.
you might, if you bring somebody on who's great for a year, but then they burn themselves out, you're back to square one. You need people
Yeah.
who can be in it with you for the long run.
I really like that, Bill. And I love how you transition it, but you brought it around because I think it's so important. What you said is there has to be that balance because I fully agree with you. Is you do? I've had those shooting stars, like they're just killing it for like for I've had problems with people with like it's been like it was like 6 months, like this is glorious, like I can't, they're like they're just turning it in, like they're churning it out. I
Yeah.
mean, they're so and then like it starts getting a little later and later, and then like the messages start coming, and I'm sick and stuff like this. And I would always, this is why we even started our staffing agency actually, is because I saw too many creatives getting burnt out because of the lack of communication, the lack of either even the self-worth. Maybe they like don't even like they have too much self-worth in the sense of like they're so ambitious that they won't eat, sleep, or do anything until it's like finished. And that's like awesome. But like if you're grinding every single day, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, like you're gonna break eventually, right?
Yeah.
And so it's so important that like you said it is like there has to be that balance of self-worth, but also you gotta know when to rest.
Yeah.
You got to
Yeah.
know when to communicate and say, hey, okay, like I'm backing off a little bit, or when it's time to rest, it's time to rest.
Well, and that's like a very, countercultural message too, because we definitely live
Yeah.
in the hustle culture, right? And
Oh yeah.
that where shooting stars are glorified and put up on a
Yeah.
pedestal, and I think I'm old enough now, I guess 37. I feel like I'm getting kind of old. Um, I'm starting to understand more of that idea that it's a long-term game. Like I think
That's
especially early on in my career, I just felt like every project had to be the greatest thing that I had ever done in
wow.
my life, or else my career was going to end. Like it was all of a sudden nobody was going to want to work with me, whatever. And I put that pressure on myself, and it's really crushing over time.
It
You
is,
get
man.
some great short-term results with that mentality, but then if you want to do this for like a career, or if you want to own an agency and be a business owner, you've got to build your systems and work at a
So
way that
good,
is
bro.
sustainable for the long term. And the truth is not every project is gonna be great. Even if you
Yeah.
intend it to be that way, even if you have the best, system for it or whatever,
Mhm.
whatever things are outside of your control, you can't control everything. But over the long run, it's like, I do a project that I feel like is the best thing I've ever made, and I'm like, I
Uh,
used to be almost like intimidated by that. Like, oh no, what if this is the best thing I've ever made? And
can I ever live up to this again or
yeah,
go beyond this?
but now I just always believe my best work is in front of me. Like always. Like even
That's
if I
so good,
did a
man.
great project yesterday, I'm gonna be like, someday I'll make something better, but it doesn't have to be the next project. Like
I love
I want to just bring, the same level of like, effort and energy that's sustainable. And over time, I'm going to just do great work again and again and again.
that's
But
good.
yeah, I'm just always like My mentality is like, do the most you can with the time and resources you have available to you. And if that's what you've done within within that window that you're supposed to be working, you can sleep well every night because you're like, I did the best I could with the time and resources and knowledge, because over time you gain more experience and knowledge. And that's true for business owners. That's true for employees. That's true for everyone.
I absolutely love it, man. That's wisdom, and obviously it comes from wisdom. The wisdom comes from experience that you've
These
had,
see
and
these gray hairs, I
bro, I just
those are
shaved, so it's
earned. Those are earned.
that was earned, yeah. And you're saying like I'm like I'm 30, I'm 39, bro. So I'm like, all right, I think I'm about to hit over that grid of 40. So,
You're
but
you're
look,
you're looking good for 39 for sure.
thank you, man. I appreciate it. So I love what you said, Bill. Again, it comes, it's clear that you have experience. The wisdom comes from that experience. And I think so many people that are watching this right now, I think it's so vital. Like, this is like one leader from another. So I'm like kind of talking to all the leaders out there, all the agency owners. I want to look you in the eye right now and say, listen to what Bill just said and use that as fuel for your business, because sometimes you may be watching this right now and you're like, I gotta hustle, I gotta hustle, gotta hustle. The team needs to work, the team needs to work, the team needs to work, like a grind, 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 grind. And look, there's nothing wrong with being a good steward of what you have. There's nothing wrong with grinding it, but you got to make sure that how you're grinding, you don't want to like grind people to the pulp and then like you're just you're spitting out same amount of customers that are coming in or as many creatives that are going out, our managers are going out. So listen to what Bill just literally just said is so good. This is something that has to be trained. It's something that has to be encouraged. It's something that has to be really ingrained into the DNA of your company, of that balance, the balance of everything from communication, from establishing clear guidelines, helping people understand there's nothing wrong with working hard and there's nothing wrong with resting hard
Yep.
as well. Because at the end of the day, if those combinations aren't there, it will affect the work and the customers. They're gonna know.
Yeah.
They're eventually gonna know.
Yeah,
And
one thing I think about a lot is like this idea of work hard, play hard, rest hard, like bring play hard into there too, because
Mhm.
you know, you need to sometimes you need to put energy into doing things that are fun and like filling
Bro, you're so right.
like when you go on vacation, like go all in, like do everything to the fullest, but that includes
So good.
rest. And I think people are really bad at that. I'm really bad at that. I'm trying to get better at it because I see it as the key to continuing in this career long term. But yeah, rest hard too means turn it off. Like,
Yep.
get an app that blocks email on your phone between 6
Good.
p.m. and 8 a.m., or whatever. Like, and I've been doing that recently too, and it's really been a game changer to make myself not check my email from the time I get home until the time I'm at work the next day. I don't look at it, and that alone has like made a world of difference for me to be able to be like, because I used to check it just like, what am I missing something? Am I missing
Yeah, yeah, like, yeah, yeah, yeah.
and maybe I get an email at 8 p.m. and I thought it was helping me with anxiety to like, check it just so I knew, but it was doing the opposite. So not
Bro,
checking the email,
so good.
saying it's almost like the show Severance, in a way.
Yeah.
But um yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
create severance in your life because it is actually good for you, I think, to really to go to when it's these are not the time this is not the time I'm supposed to be working. I need to rest. And the reason for that, if you're an owner, if you're an employee, it's the same as true, is because you do want to give your best every day, but you can't
That's
give
good,
your
man.
best for 24 hours a day. Like
That's good, bro.
can't do it.
So good.
And so
It's
you
so
have
good.
to that's why you rest. You rest hard so that you can work hard. And
I
because if
love
you
it.
don't rest hard, then eventually you can't work hard either. So, and then when
So good.
you go on vacation, when you do something fun with your family, like go all into that too, because that fills your cup the same way resting hard might as well.
I agree 100% with that, man. And one of the disciplines I've been doing is literally leaving my phone in the kitchen. I plug it in, literally put it on airplane mode, and I leave it there, and I go to sleep. And people are like, well, how do you wake up? Well, I have a 2-year-old daughter, so like she wakes me up like at 6 o'clock in
The
the morning.
ultimate
But
alarm. That's the
yeah,
ultimate alarm right there.
it's like the ultimate alarm, right? When she gets to a point where she's like sleeping a little more, I'll probably get like one of those analogical, like, old school alarm clocks.
There you go.
But it's so good. Like, I love what you said, because I mean, I tell you what, and my wife was just talking about this the other day. So I think this is so true what you're saying. And she's like, it. She was she wasn't scolding me, but she was doing the good wife, the role of a good wife. She's like, Ryan, you're working really hard, but like when you're not working, you got to put in the sense of the same effort that you put into like everything you're doing at work and with a business, is like you're doing it with your rest. I love that, man. Like,
No.
and it's so funny because I've heard that before, but it's just the way that you said it was different. It's like rest hard, work hard, so that when you go to work, you have the quality, that the batteries charge, because you put
Yep.
the quality of rest in, so now you can put the quality of work in. That's a really good motto to live by. I
Yeah.
love it, man.
Yeah, exactly.
I love it.
No, this is great. I
Well,
love how our conversations kind of just naturally evolved from, talking about leadership to now we're talking about just work-life balance and how important it
yeah.
is. Because I mean, I just think it is like so key to being a good leader.
Mhm.
Is that
No, of course.
yeah, that you can bring your best, not just to the work you're doing, but to the people that you're working
So good,
with.
man.
Because, yeah, I mean, at a certain point, nobody wants to work with an a-hole, right? Like, I mean, and that's and the way that you're gonna, you know, be able to being well rested, I think, is a key part of that. Because the more stressed I get, the more burden I'm carrying, the more my ability to be thoughtful with people and
Yep.
to be
Cognitive. Yep.
intentional with people goes down, like because I'm
Yeah.
carrying too much. So, um,
Yeah, and they can read it. People can read you so quickly, and I think I think people work better in an environment where the environment is restful. And as leaders, you're like the thermometer, right? So like you're either going to turn that bad boy really hot and people are like super stressed out and sweating their guts out, or it's just like, or you're like cold as ice, and like, so there's got to be that happy medium when you come into work, especially, if you're on a remote level, they can like tell by the fact that you're not sending emojis anymore. There's no more smiley faces. It's just like,
yeah, yeah,
God.
I know. Yeah, and it's in my field too. It's like, there's like two different types of leadership, which is like there's the one like office 8 to 5 type, work days, but then on set on like commercial productions, I'm working with freelancers and actors sometimes and makeup artists and then the clients often there too on the bigger productions, and I've got
Mhm.
to be able to deal with all those people in different ways because everybody needs something, from me
Yeah.
on set as the director. And I, I think we all like come to work every day. Like we all have things in our life that people don't know about that are like adding to our
Mhm.
stress, adding to our burdens. And so like if a client's on set and they're being difficult or challenging, like I try to remember like I don't know what they're dealing with in their life. And
That's
like,
good, man.
so
So good.
so anyway, all that to say, like, I think being on set, especially for me, is kind of a situation where as a leader, like I've really got to be at my best, and be able to
Hands down.
just work with a lot of different types of people, but also like have a lot of creative pressure in the same situation. And I always get off of a shoot and I'm like, man, I hope that I dealt with, the way that I interacted with people today was positive for them. Like
So good, man.
I hope I made their day better, and I hope I communicated clearly and it's never perfect, but I hope I did a good job, and a big part of that is just being able to lead people well and to bring my best.
I love it, man. And that's at the end of the day, that's where it's at. And I think, again, people will be able to count more on you. People will feel like they can come to you for advice come to you for moments that are maybe not so positive or positive. You've created an environment, a healthy environment, created a healthy like ecosystem because you've been rested, because you understand the role of leadership. You understand, okay, this is where I'm at and this is what I'm doing. So I know that agency owners need to find people like Bill. Bill is the guy you got to be looking for. This is the poster child
I'm
right here.
taken. I'm taken. Okay.
He's taken, but he probably has some friends that he knows about.
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure.
Well, Bill, thank you, man. We're coming up at the end of our discussion today, and I first and foremost want to say thank you, man. Thank you so much for giving of your time. I know, everyone's busy these days, right? People have so many things to do, and I get it. I as well, but it's always so good to be able to just to sit down for a few minutes and be able to talk about these certain things. I know it's very fruitful and very effective, in my personal opinion, for a lot of agency owners out there that may be feeling like, yeah, I'm kind of just doing this by myself. I'm thinking about giving up, or what's the worth? Why is it worth it? But let me tell you, everyone watching there, if you take the time to learn some of these principles that Bill taught about and begin to actually like apply them, it will only get better. As my father would always say, it only gets better, it only gets better. If you put in the work, you're a good steward of your time, good steward of your resources, it will only get better.
So true.
And so we want to always encourage everyone,
Yeah.
just keep going. Don't stop. Rest, take a breath. Don't have like a heart attack in your bed, have sweat, not, sweating out at night. Breathe, rest hard so you can work hard. You got anything, Bill, you want to add to that before we finish up today?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with everything you just said there. It's um life is one day at a time, one task at a time, and the best thing to do is just focus on what's right in front of you, but
Come on, man.
also know your why, and like why are you what got you into this work?
So good, man.
Why did you start
Come on.
your agency? How, you probably wanted to make an impact on somebody. Maybe it was a particular type of a particular genre, a particular business that you want to serve. But be about the people you work with,
Let's go,
about
man.
your
Let's go.
clients, and just keep going, because this agency life is a little crazy sometimes, for sure, and there's always something to complain about every day. And it's a but at the same time, we get to earn a living by doing what we love, and
Come on, man.
there's
Don't
not a lot
forget
of
that guy.
people out there who can say that. And so be thankful for that, and just bring that gratitude into every day, and like the good stuff will follow, right? So that's
Love it,
my
man.
final thoughts.
Wor- the wise words of Bill himself. There we go. The poster child for every company. Bill, thank you again so much, man. How can people reach out to you that are watching this? Not to take you away from your job, as I know there's probably a lot of agency owners like, oh, I want to talk to Bill. That's a joke. It's just a joke, guys. But how can people reach out to you? Maybe they just want to connect with you. They have a team of video editors and they're like, I need some more wisdom here. How do I like lead my team? How do I grow in leadership? Because I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that would like to know, like, you got a LinkedIn, you got email. How can people reach out to you?
Yeah. So I do have LinkedIn. So it's Bill Griepenstroh. It's probably spelled somewhere on
It's
this.
probably the only Grippenshaw on LinkedIn. I guarantee that.
No,
Okay,
well, there's a few others out there, but not many.
all right.
So yeah, LinkedIn, definitely always happy to give advice or just chat through
Yeah.
things as much as I can. And then also Instagram. I share a lot of my favorite work up on Instagram. So Instagram
Oh, sweet.
is just at Bill Grip, BILLGRIP. So you can reach out to me there. And yeah, I mean, I'm here at this agency, Unanimous, in Lincoln, Nebraska. I have a family. I'm pretty rooted here, I'd say, for sure. But airplanes exist, and I love the opportunity to travel
Yes,
and do
that's
work
it, man.
outside of Nebraska. Nebraska, I love it here. I love the people here, but sometimes it's nice to see.
Oh yeah, it's always good to travel a little bit for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, if you're ever in Portugal, man, we're gonna get some coffee. We can have some churrasco. We got some good old Portuguese steak. Yeah, it'll change your life. I'm sure
Oh,
you'll,
dude,
you
for sure.
unless you're a
If I go to
vegetarian.
Portugal, I am definitely looking you up. And Yeah,
Come
I've
on,
been over
bro.
to Europe a
Hey,
few times, but never to Portugal. So I'll put that on
I'll
the
pick you
list.
up at the airport and we'll go. We'll first thing go a good old restaurant. All right.
I'd love that.
I'll pick up the tab.
Yeah, yeah.
Bill, so people can also visit beunanimous.com and check out their work. They got some really, I was checking out some of your guys' like your guys' different like different jobs that you worked on. So cool. So good, great job, great work, phenomenal company, man.
Yeah, yeah. Beunanimous.com. We've got full service, marketing branding agency with design, web, video, and brand lots of branding projects. We work with clients all over the country in the United States. We have
Awesome.
international clients as well. So, don't sleep on us. We're in a small market in Lincoln, Nebraska, but like I said,
Hey,
airplanes exist and we do some
yeah.
phenomenal work. So we would love to
Oh yeah, you guys do.
who's looking for a partner agency.
Awesome. Bill, have a great day. And I can't wait to get this up online so people can watch this. And guys, all the agency owners out there, hey, continue following us, subscribe. We want to continue having these conversations. If you're interested in being on this show, this is a new thing that we've been doing. And it's just been I've been having so much fun talking to different agency owners and different leaders from all over the place, all over the United States and beyond. But if you'd like to be on this show, just send us a DM. We'd love to get in contact with you, talk with you. And Bill, thank you for jumping on today. I really appreciate it, man. Have a great day, okay?
Yeah, yeah. Hey, real quick, if you ever need a
Yeah.
repeat guest, like I said,
Oh,
I'm really good at talking
dude,
about myself. I love it. So happy to be on again.
I will. We have another podcast that we're launching that it's a little different. So
Okay.
I'll be knocking on your door, bro. So I got your number.
All right. All
I
right.
got you, man. I'll
You
be
know where to find
bringing
me.
you on the show again.
Yep.
All right, Bill. Have a great day,
Yeah,
man.
you too.
Talk
See
to
you
you
later.
later.